Oh, what's going on, guys? Chelsea have lost at home to promoted side Sunderland in the Premier League. Chelsea 1, Sunderland 2. Completely, entirely, and totally unacceptable. A draw would have been unacceptable. If you have designs of being a top 4/5 team this season, which Chelsea absolutely do, you've got to be putting away these teams. There were some really obvious underperformers and flaws in this game, and ultimately it's just not good enough. As reductive as that sounds, I'm going to show you some of the numbers and stuff today from this game, give you my thoughts on why I think we lost. Very, very, very frustrating, and still clearly missing that X factor up top. For as much as we've enjoyed Mark Guiu, who returned to the side today, and of course Liam Delap's imminent return for potentially the next game, that's what we're missing with. And look, man, across the whole entirety of the Premier League, I'm seeing centre forwards that are making a difference for their sides, like proper conventional centre forwards. Whether it's the top echelons, the very, very top of Erling Haaland, who of course is the conventional number 9, making all the difference. Of course, you've got, when Liverpool are cooking, Hugo Ekitike, and indeed, Isak's yet to go. Of course, Arsenal, a little bit the outlier. I don't think Victor Gyökeres is necessarily helping that much. He might be occupying defenders, but I think Arsenal win because they've just got an insanely formidable defence. They are currently on track to beat Chelsea's defensive record of 15 goals conceded in an entire season under Mourinho, which everyone thought there's no way they'll ever be close to beating. Now, caveat, I don't think Arsenal are going to beat that, but that's how good they are defending at the moment. And when you defend that well, fine. But strikers across the league, man, whether it's Isidore scored against us today, Thiago at Brentford, Danny Welbeck for Brighton, just canny operators. You can literally pick a team, yeah? Let's just look at the team now. So, Sunderland, who currently sit in second place, like I said, Man City, Bournemouth have got good strikers. Tottenham, I know they've got Tel Solanke, and who else? They just bought someone, Richarlison, but none of them. Oh, great example. How about Mateta, yeah? Mateta at Palace, scoring goals for fun, 28 years old, just a big boy striker, yeah? Of course, Nick Voltemada, big conventional striker, big man making all the difference at Newcastle. I could go on, across the league, like I said, your Brentfords, even your Forests and stuff like that with your centre forwards. They don't have to be Galactico, big, shiny, expensive signings. They just need to be good conventional number 9s. Now, Mark Guiu is a conventional number 9, yeah? And we've all wanted him to be in this game, and he was. It's not it's him. Welcome back. I'm obviously clearly pissed off at this result. I'm gonna show you the lineup in just a moment. Just quick housework. Thank you for joining, guys. Thank you as always for continuing to support the channel, for liking and subscribing. Of course, we're used to a lot more better vibes than this, but please do consider subscribing because we are closing in on 200,000 subscribers very closely, so very grateful for that. Can I just give you a caveat? Chelsea's home form in this in this run up to, I think is it one loss in 18 games or something at home, and had we won this, it would have been 5 wins on the spin. Chelsea came into this game in conventionally good form, but this is a totally unacceptable result, and I'm not gonna. And there's no blame to be had by having a midweek Champions League game. Yeah, that's nothing. There's no, because there was so much rotation. It was at home. This was at home. Chelsea are supposed to play in the Champions League, so there's absolutely no excuses there whatsoever. Yeah. So let's take a look at the lineups. There's a 5-4-1 from Sunderland, as they're absolutely afforded to do. That's totally what they should be doing coming to Chelsea, the promoted side. Chelsea, of course, I absolutely nailed the lineup in my preview. I'd got the personnel slightly wrong. I thought Chalobah would start on the left. and a Champong on the right, but they actually did move around, and the roles of Mark Cucurella and Reece James fluctuated a little bit, but I actually completely nailed the lineup, and indeed probably the substitutes. Not that I'm patting myself on the back, but it goes to show that there's some sort of you can predict a little bit what Maresca's going to do, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It means like he's planned his squad appropriately. Sanchez in goal, of course. I don't think he was... The second goal, he was unsighted a little bit. The first one, I think he needs to come through on the corner. Cucurella and Reece James starting. A Champong, who's had an amazing run of form. We'll speak about him maybe. Chalobah, Enzo Fernandez. I don't know what Enzo Fernandez has done here to get player of the match on SofaScore. Played in the right pocket. What else? Expected assist 0.43. Passes in his own half. I don't give a so-and-so about that. Yeah, you made 100% pass accuracy in your own half. That's because the opposition were doing a low block and not pressing you. Total shots. I mean, fair. I saw him make some very poor decisions, Enzo Fernandez. So if he's the best player on the pitch, says SofaScore, says a lot. Caicedo, of course, partnering him, fine. Wasn't his best game, wasn't his worst. Neto assisted Garnacho, and of course we'll speak about Joao Pedro and Mark Guiu in this game, who were, I think Chelsea's worst two players, or most ineffective players, and that's probably a tactical thing due to the low block. Before I speak about the players and stuff, while I've got this up, let's just show you quickly. Where do I find the stats again? 1 second. I'm just going to find this. Right, found them. Here we go. So this is what's not good enough. 69% possession, as you'd expect. Freaking Sunderland won't care. The great Mourinho quote, Chelsea can take the ball home with them if they want. We'll take 3 points. And not even one expected goal from Chelsea. Huge problem. 2 big chances apiece. We did take 16 shots to their 10, but clearly low value chances, and their goalkeeper had a fairly decent game. 9 corners. I'm annoyed we didn't score off a corner. I really thought we've done better on corners lately. Bernardo Cueva, Chelsea's set piece coach, finally earning his salary. I feel like we should have maybe, the amount of corners, done something a bit more threatening. And that was it ultimately. And of course, in terms of the timeline, you can see attacking momentum on the top left. The green's Chelsea, the blue is Sunderland, but the momentum doesn't mean diddly squat on a game like this, especially when they're happy for you to have the ball. Both goals in the first 22 minutes. Alejandro Garnacho in the 4th minute, and then of course we concede the equaliser from a long throw. A long throw. They're back in business, baby. They're in vogue. I mean, it does mine a little bit. Like, everyone's going, oh, the long throws are back. Why is everyone doing a long throw? Whatever. I don't really give a so-and-so. But yeah, firstly, shout out to Garnacho. It was a great goal. Great finish. It was clearly like I'm just freely expressing myself. I'm gonna feel, and even after the goal, he played really well. It's almost like, I don't know if this is. I think this is Garnacho at Man United, but at Chelsea, and then Chelsea at large, because we've got this young team. You sort of play well, you start well, and then you sort of go into yourself a little bit. Do you know what I mean? And between the 2 goals, so the 4th minute when we scored and the 22nd minute when we conceded the equaliser, we were massively on top. Not only were we like looking good, we were knocking it around really well, confidently, and you think, right, we're just going to turn the screw here, twist the knife as it were, and go on to win this game comfortably. Didn't happen. Anyway, it was a long throw. Isidore scores the equaliser, and lots of pressure from Chelsea throughout the game till the 93rd minute, where we concede what can only have been a winner at that point. Talby, basically on the break, Brobby, who I believe he must have been a centre forward that comes on, for Isidore. Does what you see Liam Delap do a lot, actually. Just is a pressure release valve, drags the ball up the pitch by himself, waits. There's the square, obvious ball, the high value chance, which of course was finished by Talby comfortably. Maybe there could be an argument that, Sanchez was unsighted by an offside player, but whatever. They did exactly what they needed to do. They defended incredibly well, Sunderland, and not that they were like throwing in like slide tackles all over the gaff. They were just sort of calm, and they were like, no, don't need to run for that. That's going to go out of play. No, I'll occupy this space. Just sensible, calm defending against a sort of naive young side. Now, we had Joao Pedro and Mark Guiu. So these, I think, were the problem. Yeah, you can see them both there in the centre, the two low-scored players on SofaScore. Both good players. Joao Pedro hasn't played well for Chelsea for a long time. And if you guys watch my channel, would have been saying for a while, it's because he's been playing as a lone centre forward. He can't get in the game. He needs more touches. As soon as I saw, him starting behind Mark Guiu, this is precisely what I, and indeed some other Chelsea fans wanted. I was like, this is what we need. This is what will offer the Joao Pedro the space. And to be honest, if I'm being completely fair, maybe it still is in different game states against different opposition. Say, a more expressive open opposition. That's not a criticism of Sunderland. They did exactly what they needed to do and should have done. But say a team like Brighton. You know, we lost to Brighton this season. If we started Mark Guiu against Brighton with Joao Pedro and just behind him, a more open side and high octane side, that's when the Guiu occupying centre backs, and there's a little bit more space in the hole behind him where a Joao Pedro can operate better and affect the game better. But despite that, I still think he played poorly. I still think Guiu played poorly, but it was the wrong setup for a low block back five from this Sunderland side. But yeah, Reggie Labrie deserves a lot of credit, the Sunderland manager. Like I said, I mean, you don't plan to score a stoppage time winner like that. They were planning to sort of see out the game and have a great point away from home. And Maresca did what he should have done in terms of throwing the kitchen sink at it. All of his attackers that were named on the bench came on. Stevao, Gittins, George, and of course Santos and Tosin came on. I only think Tosin came on for a Chiampong because I think he took a knock near the end in a 50-50, so it was a protective measure, which is fine. And in terms of good performers, I think my favourite performer on the pitch was Joshua Chiampong. I think he was really intelligent. There was a moment where Rob Sanchez fizzed a ball into him that he really shouldn't have done, and he received it well enough and played out of the press. I think he just defended well. He played two different positions, I think. Certainly pushed right up into that sort of left pocket all the way through sometimes, if you look at his heat map here, as you can see. So, defensive, but pushing right up into the attacking third as the left-sided centre-back. Played really, really well, I think. He was my favourite player on the day. I know Enzo Fernandez has been given the player of the match here on SofaScore, and is a lot higher than any Chelsea and indeed Sunderland player. Garnacho, very happy, got his goal. He demonstrated what he's good at. He also demonstrated how he can fade in games. Neto continues his consistently pretty good form. Another goal involvement. He got an assist. I think it's really, you can't really drop Joao Pedro at the moment. Obviously at the end we saw Pedro Neto moved over to the left when Garnacho came off and Stevao came on. He moved back right onto the right when Gittins came on, and then Pedro came off. So Stevao played in the 10. I know the great design and plan is to see Stevao play in the number 10 long term, but I've seen him do all his best work as a Chelsea right winger so far. Of course, it's very early doors with him. But what do you do, moving forwards? Do you know what I mean? Your next Premier League match, what do you do? Do you start Stevao over Joao Pedro behind Delap if he's ready? Do you literally bench Joao Pedro for a while? Or do you give Joao Pedro a chance to start again in that number 10, but behind a Delap? And again, I don't want to judge this whole, Pedro Guiu disaster class completely from this game in isolation against a very low block. I would like to see them actually against a more open team, but of course that's going to happen less often because you're Chelsea. You're often going to be the favourite to win a game. Anyway, guys, that's enough for me. Let me know what you think. Of course, daily videos back here. I do return for Chelsea news, and we'll be okay. Although this is an absolutely unacceptable result. Peace.